Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, let us start with the second part of the chapter 13, limits and derivatives. Okay, that is derivatives. So this is the chapter 13, limits and derivatives of 11th class maths. Okay, derivatives, let us now see. So what do you mean by derivative? So derivative is rate of change of a quantity with respect to another quantity. Okay, so for example, if you look at speed, okay, speed. Now this is nothing but the rate of change of distance with respect to time, right? So for example, if you look at this, if there is a place called A and there is a place called B here, right? And suppose we have the distance between A and B as 450 kilometers, right? And if a car, say, travels from A to B in 3 hours, okay, so if you look at the speed of the car, that will be nothing but distance divided by time, and so you will get 450 divided by 3 hours, and that will be nothing but 150, right? So I mean, he is driving too fast here. Okay, so let us make this say the distance, so let us make this as 9 here. Okay, let us slow the car down here. So time can be time, if it is 9 hours, so that means what happens here is, if you do 450 divided by 9, then we will get 50, right? 50 kilometers per hour. So you can see that the rate at which the car travels is 50 kilometer per hour. So that is the meaning of uh, derivative. Okay, so this is nothing but now the derivative. Okay, just we can say look at this as the derivative. So derivative is nothing but the rate of change of a quantity with respect to another quantity. In this example, the quantity was distance and the another quantity was time. So distance with respect to time, right? So that um, the rate of change of distance with respect to time is nothing but the speed, and that is the concept, okay, of derivative. So let us now look at one more example. So for example, if a factory manufactures uh, say 510 units of product in 30 days, right? So what is the rate of change of uh, production, or the rate of change of number of products, or we can say number of units, okay, uh, with respect to day. So that will be nothing but 510 divided by 30. So 0 0 here, 3 ones are 3, and 3 17s are 51. So 17 units per day you will get, right? So this is the rate of change of units with respect to day. So this is the concept of derivative. Okay, derivative is nothing but rate of change of number of units with respect to day. Now let us look at the formal definition. Okay, so definition of derivatives. And suppose you have a function, let us say let fx be a function. Okay, uh, then the derivative of fx with respect to x, right? So the quantity, uh, a quantity which is there here is fx, and this is changing with respect to x, right? So here the derivative of fx with respect to x is given by, so fx equal to y, we can say here. Okay, fx equal to y with respect to x is denoted by, and of course at a point we have to take this. Okay, so yeah, at a point we have to take at x equal to a. So the derivative of fx equal to y with respect to x at x equal to a is given by this f prime of a is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h, right? So here we are finding the derivative at a point. This is the important thing here. What is the definition? F prime of a is equal to limit h tends to 0 f a plus h minus f of a divided by h. Now the derivative is denoted by f prime of a, or it is also denoted by d by dx of f of x, or d by dx of, yes, f of x at x equal to, like this also is denoted. So mostly for some time we will use this f prime of a. Okay, so that is the definition of the derivatives. Now let us look at the geometrical interpretation of derivatives. Geometrical interpretation of derivatives. So let fx be a function. Okay, let fx equal to y be a function, and now let us look at the graph of the function fx. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. This is the origin here. So if there is a function fx in this way, right, and suppose now the point P is here, say, and point Q is here. Let us take the points little below. Okay, like this. Suppose this is point P and this is point Q, right? Okay, now let us say that this point P is at x equal to a here, right? And so this will be f of a, and this point Q is at a plus h, where h is positive. Okay, this is a plus h. So that means some increment to a. some increase in the value of a by h. So a plus h, this will be f a plus h. Okay, now if you look at the chord pq here, so this is the chord pq, and then now we will have to find the slope of this pq. Okay, so let us find the slope of pq. So what will be the slope of pq here? We are doing geometrical interpretation of derivatives. Okay, so we will see how the derivatives can be seen geometrically. So slope uh, of pq is nothing but, see, for finding slope what you want. So if you extend this line here, okay, if you extend this line here, okay, like this. So now if you look at this distance, what is this distance? It is f of a plus h minus f of a, right? And what is this distance? This is a plus h minus a, which is h, right? A plus h minus a and minus a will get cancelled, you will get h. So this is h. So if you look at the slope of pq, then what it will be? It is f a plus h minus f of a, right? Y divided by x is the slope, you know this. Okay, so f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h, this is the slope of pq, right? What you do, you, if you want to see this, suppose this is y1, this is y2, right? This is x1, this is x2. So slope is what? Slope is always y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? So now you know how you get this. So that is the slope, fa plus h minus f of a divided by h. Now if you look at this, if you now just bring the point q closer to p, okay, if you keep on bringing the point q closer to p, how will be the chords? Let us see. So this is one chord here, pq. Okay, let us draw it properly. This is pq, this is another chord pq. Okay, so you see that the chord is becoming smaller and smaller actually. Okay, and if you extend, but that is not the thing that you have to see. If you just extend this gets extended here. And similarly, if you look at this chord, if you extend it here, like this will get, and so on. So you can see that the chord is uh, just tilting in this way, okay, down here like this. And suppose this point q keeps on coming closer to p, right? So that means if you look at limit, if you look at limit q approaching to p, right, of what? Of slope of pq. So what this will be? This will be limit, uh, so okay, this will be what? Limit q tends to p slope of pq. So a point will come where you will get a tangent, right? You can see that the chord is approaching, the chord is sorry, point q is approaching to p, so you will get what? A tangent at p like this. Okay, so this is nothing but the tangent at p here, right? So limit q tends to p slope of pq, that is nothing but the tangent uh, at point P. Okay, so now we will look at the limit h tends to 0 of this f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. This is what? This is nothing but derivative of f at a, right? This we have defined it here. Okay, so that we have written f prime of a, and you can see that now this quantity here is same as this quantity, slope of pq, right? Okay, so what you see that if you only you have to look at this now, since q tends to p, this means what? This means h is tending to 0. You can see here, if q is tending to p, that means this h is becoming smaller and smaller and it is tending to 0, and at last it will become a, right? In the end, as h tends to 0, it will come to a. That means at the point a it will come, so you will get this point p, right? And that means you will get this tangent at p, because you can see that the limit q tends to p, slope of pq is this, which is same as this quantity, right? And we have seen the uh, relation between this limit q tends to p is actually nothing but limit h tends to 0, right? So therefore what will happen is f prime of a here will become equal to this limit q tends to p slope of pq. So that means this will be equal to tangent, slope of the tangent, right? Slope of tangent at p here. This is nothing but slope. I have written tangent at p. Now this is the slope of tangent at p. Okay. So this is the thing. F prime of a is equal to slope of tangent at p, and that is the thing. Derivative of f at a is equal to slope of tangent at p. Okay. So that is what we wanted here to show the geometrical interpretation of derivative. So what is the geometrical interpretation? So derivative of f at a point a is nothing but slope of tangent at the point p. Okay, this point p is nothing but a comma f of a, right, on the graph. So f prime of a derivative of f is nothing but slope of tangent at the point p, okay, which is nothing but a comma f of a. So you can see that the important thing is this a is here, a comma f of a is there, right? So that is the derivative. Okay, now we will go to the next part, that is uh, definition uh, given by the first principle of derivatives. So first principle of derivatives. Okay, here, so the let fx be a function defined, or let fx be a function of x, right? Then the f prime of x is also a function of x, right? Is also a function of x. Okay, so therefore what will happen here, let fx be a function of x, then f prime of x is also a function of x, and f prime of x will be nothing but equal to limit h tends to 0, okay, f of x plus h minus f of x and divided by h. Here you will get. So this is the first principle of derivatives here. So here the definition of f prime of x is called as first principle of derivatives. Now let us look at some examples of related to first principle of derivatives. So first example is fx equal to x. So by the first principle we have to find the derivative of this function fx. So f prime of x, this is the derivative that will be equal to limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus f of x divided by h. Okay, this will be equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h will be what? See, the definition of the function is fx equal to x. So f of x plus h will be nothing but x plus h. Okay, when it is x, it is x. When you are finding f of x, it is x. Why? Because here you have x. That is the function. I mean, the function is fx equal to x. So when the quantity in the domain is x, you get the value in the range as x. So when the value in the domain is x plus h, will get x plus h, right? Okay, minus f of x is nothing but x and then divided by h. So this will be equal to limit h tends to 0. X and minus x will get cancelled. H divided by h. This will be equal to limit h tends to 0 of 1, and so that is nothing but 1. So f prime of x is 1. Now let us find f of x. Let us find the derivative of f of x equal to k. Now this is by first principle, by the way. So by first principle of derivatives, right? We get this definition. Okay. Now let us look at the derivative of this fx equal to k by the first principle. So what we'll get, f prime of x equal to limit h tends to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, right? So this will be equal to what? Limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h will be what? Now the function is f of x equal to k, so that means for every x the value of the function is the constant k. See, this k is a constant. So what will be f of x plus h? This k is a constant. F of x is equal to k for every x. So f of x plus h will also be k, right? So minus f of x is k and then divided by h. So this will be equal to limit h tends to 0 of 0 by h, right? And that is nothing but limit h tends to 0 of 0, which is 0. Okay, so the derivative of the function, which is a constant function, is a 0. Okay, right. Now let us go further and then look at the algebra of limits, algebra of derivatives, sorry, algebra of derivatives. So let fx and gx be any two functions. Let fx and gx be any two functions defined on the same domain, right? Defined on the same domain, uh, and uh, also let let the fx f prime x and g prime x exist for every x. Okay, so let f prime of x and g prime of x exist for every x. So the first property of algebra of derivatives will be, see, f of x plus g of x, the whole derivative, right? So derivative of f of x plus g of x will be derivative of f of x plus derivative of g of x, that is f prime of x plus g prime of x. Or you can also write this as like this, derivative of f of x plus g of x. This is another definition for derivative, right? Derivative of, how you write it, d by dx. Derivative of f of x plus g of x will be derivative of fx plus derivative of g of x, right? And so this is one property. Second is this f of x minus, so derivative of f of x minus g of x will be equal to derivative of f of x minus derivative of g of x. Okay, this is the second property. Now third property, let us see. So third property will be a derivative of f of x multiplied by g of x, right? Derivative of product of two functions f of x, g of x is equal to, this is f of x multiplied by derivative of g of x. Okay, this is little interesting. So f of x plus f of x multiplied by derivative of g of x plus g of x multiplied by derivative of f of x, right? So what you're getting here, so the derivative of the product of two functions f of x, g of x, that is derivative of f of x multiplied by g of x, is equal to f of x multiply the derivative of g of x, okay, plus g of x multiplied by derivative of f of x. So first function multiplied by derivative of the second function plus second function multiplied by derivative of the first function, right? Okay, so that is the third property. Now fourth property, derivative of f of x divided by g of x. So here you had product of two functions, here now you have quotient of two functions, right? So this will be equal to g of x derivative of f of x, then minus f of x derivative of g of x, and this will be divided by g of x the whole square. Okay, so this is the formula. What is the formula? Derivative of quotient of two functions f of x, g of x, that is derivative of f of x divided by g of x is equal to g of x multiplied by derivative of f of x minus f of x multiplied by derivative of g of x, and then divided by g of x the whole square. Okay, so now the fifth property, so that is derivative of k times f of x. Okay, so now this is a constant, this will come out, and that is the property. Okay, this is the property. So the derivative of constant multiplied by a function is nothing but constant times the derivative of the function. This is the property, the constant will come out of the derivative. Okay, so these are the five properties which are very important. Now let us look at how to look at the third and the fourth property in a short way. Okay, so suppose you have two functions u and v. So this is the first function, this is the second function. So derivative of that is denoted by dash here like this. So uv the whole prime, right? Or dash, you call it prime or dash. This will be equal to, I will call it as prime. So uv the whole prime will be what? Now this is the first function, right? So that means u, then multiplied by derivative of g, which is v prime, plus v, which is the second function, multiplied by derivative of u. So this is a short way to remember the property number 3, right? Now property number 4 can be also remembered as u by v the whole prime is equal to v times derivative of u, right, like this, minus u times derivative of v divided by v square. Okay, see, you can compare it. So u is f and v is g. So gx, that is v, derivative of fx is u prime minus fx is u, and derivative of gx means v prime divided by gx square, that is v square. Okay, so like that you can remember the property. Now that was the algebra of derivatives. Now let us go further. Here now we have to look at a formula, okay, which is very important. So derivative of x raised to n, and this formula you will be able to remember as you do the problems. Okay, um, so derivative of x raised to n is equal to nothing but n times x raised to n minus 1. Okay, it is an important formula, very important, but don't worry, you will be able to remember it as you solve many as you solve the problems. So derivative of x raised to n is equal to n times x raised to n minus 1. This is the formula. Now let us look at the derivative of polynomials. So let fx be equal to uh, as the polynomial, we can take it as a naught plus a1x plus a2x square and so on up to yeah, we can write one more a3x raised to 3 and so on plus an x raised to n, right? Where a naught, a1, a2 up to an are all constants, right? And of course a n is not equal to 0, so this is a polynomial of degree n here. Okay, be a polynomial of degree n, right? So we have to take the derivative of this now. So derivative of fx, so this will be nothing but derivative of, what is the function fx? It is a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x raised to 3 and so on, right? Plus an x raised to n. This is the polynomial. So what you will get here? Now this is just the here you have to use the property number 1 of algebra of derivatives, that is derivative of a naught, then you will get plus derivative of a1x. So derivative will get split to every function here, okay, in the sum, right? That is property number 1. Derivative of fx plus gx is equal to derivative of fx plus derivative of gx. So the property can be applied in this way. First you take this as fx and then this as gx, right? Then you will get derivative of a naught plus derivative of this. Then again what you do for the derivative of this, you will get derivative of a1x plus derivative of this, right? And so on, you can keep on applying the derivative to each and every term of the sum. Okay, so what you will get here, derivative of a naught plus you will get then derivative of a1x, right, plus derivative of a2x square, then plus derivative of a3x cube and so on up to derivative of an x raised to n, right? So this is nothing but derivative of fx. We are calculating the derivative of the polynomial. Okay, so this will be equal to what? Now derivative of a naught is what? See, we have already seen this derivative of a constant is 0. Here we have seen, see, if a function is a constant k, then its derivative is 0, right? So what we will get here, derivative of a naught will be 0 plus derivative of a1x will be what? Now this a1 will come out here, right? And derivative of x, okay, and then so on. A2 will come out, that is a constant, that is why. Then derivative of x square, right? Then a3 will also come out, that is a constant, derivative of x cube and so on. Then this an will come out. This is a constant derivative of x raised to n. Okay, so this will be equal to what? A1 derivative of x is by the formula. So the formula, if you recollect, it was derivative of x raised to n is nothing but n times x raised to n minus 1. Okay, so if you look at this x, it is nothing but x raised to 1. So n is 1 here. So 1 times x raised to 1 minus 1 you will get, right? Plus a2, then derivative of x square. So here n is 2, so 2 times x raised to 2 minus 1, right? Plus a3, this n is 3 here, so 3 times x raised to 3 minus 1, right? And so on up to an, and then you will get what? N times x raised to n minus 1 as the derivative of x raised to n. Okay, so what we will get here? A1 x raised to 0 plus 2 times a2 x raised to 1 plus 3 times a3 x raised to 2 and so on up to an x raised to n minus 1, right? So this is the derivative of the polynomial. Okay, and so you can see that you are getting the derivative as a1 x raised to 0 plus 2 times a2 x raised to 1 plus 3 times a3 x square and so on plus n a n x raised to n minus 1. Now this you don't have to remember. Okay, this you don't have to remember. Only thing you have to remember is this formula of derivative, right? If you remember this, then you can find the derivative of any polynomial. So let us take one example quickly. So fx is equal to, suppose, say 10 x raised to 50 plus 5 times x raised to, say, 35 and plus 8x, or we can take minus 8x. Okay, or plus we will take. Okay, no problem. Now derivative of fx will be what? So this is a polynomial. You can see the degree of the polynomial is 50 here. So this will be 10 times derivative of x raised to 50 is what? This is x raised to n type function. So it will be 50 n multiplied by x raised to n minus 1, that is 50 minus 1. Okay, okay, so plus 5 times, now this is n 35, so 35 times x raised to n minus 1, 35 minus 1 plus 8 times, here this is x raised to 1, so n times x raised to 1 minus 1. Okay, so this will be your derivative of fx equal to uh, yeah, derivative of fx is equal to 500 times x raised to 50 minus 1, that is 49 plus 5 times 35, right? So 35 times 5, that is 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 175. Okay, 175 x raised to 34, right? And plus 8 times x raised to 0. So this derivative of fx will be nothing but 500 times x raised to 49 plus 175 x raised to 34 plus 8, because x raised to 0 is 1 here. Okay, so this will be the derivative, and now you know how to find the derivative. Okay, now let us move further. Now we have to look at the derivative of trigonometric functions. Okay, derivatives of trigonometric function. Okay, so let us take example of a trigonometric function here. So that is fx equal to sin x. Let us take. Okay, so derivative of this function sin x we will calculate by first principle of derivative. So f prime of x will be equal to limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus f of x and then divided by h, right? So this will be nothing but limit h tends to 0 and f of x plus h is what? Sine x plus h. Okay, minus f of x is here sine of x, right? And then divided by h. So this will be nothing but f prime of x. Limit h tends to 0. Sine x plus h is what? This formula you have to know, and you know it. You will know it, right? So sine a plus b is nothing but sine a cos b plus uh, cos a sine b and minus sine x. Okay, that is this term, and then divided by h. So f prime of x, if you calculate, it will be limit h tends to 0. Here what we can do is sin x we can take common from these two. So sin x 1 minus sorry uh, minus sin x we can take common. So what will happen here? You will get 1 minus cos h, right? 1 minus cos h sin minus sin x we are taking common. So 1 minus cos h and plus this remains as it is, so cos x sin h, right? And then that is divided by h. So what will happen here is f prime of x, if you see, then that will be equal to limit h tends to 0 and now we can split the numerator. So what will happen here? We will get minus sin x 1 minus cos h divided by h and plus limit h tends to 0 cos h, yeah, plus the limit we will take later, but when we split the numerator we will get minus sin x multiplied by 1 minus cos h divided by h, that is this, plus cos x sin h divided by h, cos x sin h divided by h, right? So f prime of x will be what? See, limit h tends to 0. Now we can split it to the both the terms. So minus sin x, so limit h tends to 0 minus sin x, limit h tends to 0 minus sin x multiplied by 1 minus cos h divided by h plus limit h tends to 0 cos h sin h divided by h, right? So f prime of x, now if we calculate, we can take this minus sin h outside because this is a constant with respect to h. We are taking limit with respect to h, so this minus sin x will become constant, so that will come out of the limit, right? Then limit h tends to 0 1 minus cos h divided by h, okay, plus now this cos x is a constant with respect to x, with respect to h, this cos x is constant, so that will come out, right? Cos x limit h tends to 0 sin h divided by h, okay. So f prime of x will be equal to what? Minus sin x times limit of this is 0 by the formula plus cos x multiplied by limit of sin h by h as h tends to 0, you know the formula, that is 1, right? Okay, so f prime of x is nothing but 0 plus cos x, and so f prime of x is nothing but cos x, right? So that means the derivative of fx, what was fx? Fx was sin x, right? Here, so derivative of sin x is equal to cos x. So you can see we have got a formula for the derivative of one trigonometric ratio, that is sin x, and that is nothing but cos x. So we will write the formula here. right? So first formula we already calculated, derivative of sin x is equal to cos x. This you have to remember, okay, to solve the problems. So please remember these 6 formulas which I am writing here. So second, now derivative of cos x is equal to minus sin x, okay. Then third one, uh, derivative of cosec x. This is nothing but minus cosec x cot x, okay. Then we will go to the fourth, the derivative of we have here sec x, okay. This will be nothing but sec x tan x. Then the fifth one is derivative of uh, tan x, okay. So this will be nothing but minus sec square x. Then sixth one, that is derivative of cot x, okay. This will be nothing but minus cosec square x, right? Let us read it again. The derivative of sin x is equal to cos x, derivative of cos x is equal to minus sin x, derivative of cosec x is equal to minus cosec x cot x, derivative of sec x is equal to sec x tan x, derivative of tan x is equal to minus sec square x, derivative of cot x is equal to minus cosec square x, okay. So these 6 formulae you have to do it properly and see that you by heart them, okay, so that you can solve the problems easily, okay. The problems are very easy. The derivative, this chapter 13 limits and derivative is actually very easy, okay. So just you have to know the formula, know the and then solve the problems, okay, as many as possible. So that's it in the video. If you have liked my video, please hit the like button, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.